Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Let them come.
Now, every time that I hit live, I forget that there's that last clip of audio from Optimus Prime. But anyway, welcome back to another episode of Where Heartbreak Feels Good podcast. I am your host, Edgar Ortega, and we are back to check on our box office predictions for the summer blockbuster season, which is now officially going to be over in a couple of days. So that's going to be exciting. And yeah, we just want to catch up with what's been going on. A very interesting summer, and to help me basically catch up with everything that happened is Evan Harris.
What is up? Glad to be back. Huge fan of the box office. I had a fun time last time going over our summer predictions, where we're going to be, the big performers of the summer, where we're going to be the stinkers of the summer. Mm-hmm. And wow, there were a lot of surprises. Glad to be back talking about what went wrong, what didn't go wrong, what ended up, being huge successes and whatnot. Yeah, good times. I'm excited.
Yeah. Technically, the summer isn't over until the 4th of September, but I mean, everything is basically pretty much done. Like, there's nothing big that's going to happen. Maybe in a couple of days, in a couple of weeks, Oppenheimer will cross $900 million, which is wild to say, just to show just how incredibly insane this summer has been for movies.
Edgar, I got a question.
Yeah, go for it.
Do you have our past picks? Right,
yeah,
on the ready for us?
I have them ready.
Okay, let's put that up first. I think we fucked up.
We fucked up. I fucked up big time. Let's see.
I fucked up too. I will admit, I said it on stream. I said Barbie will not get over, like, I think at the time we did our box office prediction end of April, first week in May, something like that. I know it was pre-Guardians. We did our stream, I think. And I said it on stream. I was like, Barbie would not perform over 70 million, 80 million opening weekend. And I was like, it's not the kind of movie. It doesn't have the worldwide global appeal. I think it'll appeal to a certain demographic, not just women, but just like women, small families. It won't be this huge hit at all. I was completely, utterly wrong. Devastatingly wrong. I was incredibly. I laughed at you when you had Barbie at number 1. I was like, "You are ridiculous." I thought movies like Little Mermaid, Guardians perform way better.
I don't want to rewrite history, but I'm pretty sure. I think I said this about like 1 or 2 movies, but I'm pretty sure Barbie was one of these. I'm pretty sure I said that Barbie had the potential of being this year's like Top Gun Maverick, and like you know what?
Yeah.
I was right. I wasn't wrong about that one. Again, you could technically say that about 2 movies this year, for different reasons. But yeah, like again, it's just been a really wild summer, and I'm just trying to pick up this stuff.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, it's been wild. Yeah. Some of my favorite movies ended up doing well. I think I did good overall. Number 1, I had Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which was
a good pick.
Which was a great pick. I never back down from a Marvel pick. People was like, the Marvel Renaissance, not Marvel Renaissance, but the Marvel brand is going downhill. Oh, come on. I'm like, what are you talking about, right? Like, last year we had Thor: Love and Thunder. People hated that movie, but guess what? It made like
a lot of money.
$500 million. So like it's breaking those boundaries very. Actually, I think it made $700 million. I don't know, but and then Wakanda Forever made over $800 million. Ant-Man and the Wasp stunk critically, but then box office wise, it still made over like $400 million. It made more than Dune Part 1. Granted, Dune came out in a pandemic, but like it made around those numbers. So it's interesting, talking about the Marvel brand. I think these movies are still going to be, regardless of what people think of them critically, they're still going to be moderate successes. It's still going to cross that $400 million global boundary. And like I said, the last stream, or I forget what stream I was on, but 400 million in 2023 is kind of like the new 700 million back in the 2019 days where everything was making $1 billion.
Yeah.
So I think 400 is the new benchmark. 700 million. If a movie makes over 700 million, that's a huge success in 2023 days. So I think 700 is the new 1 billion, and then 400 is the new 700. And if a movie manages to cross $1 billion, like a Barbie, like Mario, that's a huge success. That's why those two movies are like, big
The top of
juggernauts,
the top.
top of the top
Hmm.
for a reason. Yeah, exactly. They have the global appeal. I don't think we're in for any movie hitting anywhere close to $1 billion for the remainder of the year. So I think Barbie is solidifying itself as the highest grossing movie of the year, both
Yeah, not
domestically and globally.
yeah, nothing is gonna be that movie anymore.
Yeah,
Did it already pass Super Mario Bros? I think it
it
did,
did.
right?
I think today or over the week. Over the weekend, it definitely did globally. Actually, yeah, duh. Both globally and domestically, it has crossed because it's now at like high 50s, I think, getting into the $600 million barrier. Um, so yeah, I think Barbie's doing very well overall. And I have the numbers here. Once I can find, I don't usually use my desktop Twitter. So I'm like, what the heck? Where's my bookmarks at? There we go, bookmarks. Um, Barbie overall has made $1.34 billion. It has crossed Super Mario, which was like a 1.3 period $1 billion. Um, and then overall, Barbie over the weekend has now $594 million, which is
Yeah.
cementing it as again the biggest grosser of the year, domestically and globally. There we
And
go. Perfect.
here we have our picks, and it's kind of sad for me. But my one and only like silver lining here is that I did pick basically the movie of the year, so I
Yeah,
I
you
take
did.
that as a win.
I don't know how we ranked like who's gonna win. We didn't really go over that, which is funny in hindsight.
Yeah,
But I mean, your movie alone, you're at
has made
1.34 billion. Like your movie alone is like Guardians, Little Mermaid, Dead Reckoning, and Elemental combined. So it's wild. Um, but yeah, Barbie #1, great pick. Fast X, I thought I was like, oh wow, Fast X, no way. But it actually has made more than Dead Reckoning, at least globally. I don't know. I have the domestic charts on me for the summer. Um, Domestically, Fast X, um,
I'm gonna pop up the box
yeah,
office
Fast X
market.
is not in the top 10 domestically. Mission Impossible 7 has outgrossed it barely at 168 million.
Here we go.
Um, but thank you. Yeah, there we go. Oh, great. Yeah, both of them up there. Yeah, perfect. I was gonna go through the domestic and global. Oh wait, never mind. That's domestic. Okay.
This is just
Um,
domestic.
cool. I got the global list. It's fine. So yeah. Fast X making 145. That kind of was where we were predicting, right? We were like, Fast X is going to perform like a normal Fast and Furious movie. It's not going to have that Fast 7 bump. Rest in peace, Paul Walker, but it's going to have that Fast 8, Fast 9 trend where it makes about 60, 70 million. It actually made more opening weekend than I thought. I think it made like 67, high 60s opening weekend.
Mhm.
And then petered out. That's how it does it usually. It doesn't usually cross that $200 million barrier.
And then
Yeah,
Elemental, the story of the year of the summer, if you may, with the comeback
wild.
of the
I
year
think that
is
was on my list at the very bottom. I said
yeah, it was
like
at the bottom.
I said Elemental. I said a range of like 30 to 45 million opening weekend. It'll leg out to, I don't know, maybe 100 million domestically. I was not confident in the movie. That's why I had it a little bit lower because of the trailers were not appealing to me. But the movie ended up being very fun. I think my top
Yeah,
25 movies of the year, top 30, I don't know. It's a very fun movie. And it legged it out domestically for sure. It opened up the same weekend as The Flash.
Yeah.
And while this movie made 29 million and The Flash made like 50 to
30,
60
40? Yeah, I think
million.
you're right.
I
I
think
think you're right.
50 to 60. I think it was higher than that. But 50, 60 million dollars for a movie that cost 300, not great, Bob. Yeah, there you go. Let's see what The Flash made opening weekend.
55.
I saw it's in between there. 55 million opening weekend. Elemental makes 29. I was like, okay, Elemental 29, not great. It's even lower than last year's Lightyear, but
Mhm.
it left it out. It was the only competition for. It was the only appetite for like families and young children, and which I thought would be competing with Across the Spider-Verse, but Across the Spider-Verse had already like done its job by then, right?
Yeah.
It had already been the biggest movie of the year by the time the Elemental came out, and even when Elemental was coming out, it was still vying for that position with Across the Spider-Verse.
And
that
it
team-
also, I also feel like it helped the fact that it is a much more like family friendly movie than Across the Spider-Verse. Not that Across the Spider-Verse isn't, but like first of all, it is a lengthier movie. It's like 230, I think. And
215.
and it's also like a part one, and it is a little bit darker, at least compared to like the first Spider-Verse.
Don't take your children. I'm kidding.
Like Guardians? Too dark?
Guardians? AO?
It is dark.
Anyways, so yeah, and then again, one of the best things about Elemental was that it stayed in theaters for quite some time as well. So 29 million going to 151 million domestically. That's like a what? I don't know math. 30 times. That's like a 5.0 multiplier,
Yeah.
which is insane.
You
That's a
had
huge multiplier.
You had Elemental at 5. I had the
I had
Flash
Elemental
at
at 5.
3. That hurts.
Oh, by the way, yeah, I forgot I was going to mention this earlier, dude. We fucked up.
Yep.
What movie is not on here?
I would put, even though I could almost consider putting it as a wild card, one of us, even though it didn't make like bonkers numbers, it did made a lot of money for that franchise. Insidious did really well.
I think our movies.
Oppenheimer obviously is the big one.
I was thinking of Oppenheimer, yes, but I think all these movies made more than Insidious, minus Blue Beetle and No Hard Feelings are wild cards. So yeah, wild cards would have been definitely a good pick for Insidious. But yeah, the big story is that we fucked up because Oppenheimer's not here. We underestimated Nolan.
The power of Nolan.
It's weird for me. I don't know what I was thinking. Honestly, I mean, I think
we were being, not us necessarily, but I think we were not confident that people would show up for like a 3-hour black and white.
3-hour talkie. They're talking. Yeah. And it's one of my favorite movies of all time now. I love Oppenheimer. Yeah. It's between Across the Spider-Verse and Oppenheimer for my favorite movie of the year. But I mean, I think I looked up like Dunkirk, and Dunkirk made like, I don't know, 400, 500, 600, I don't know, $1 million. And then Inception was such a long time ago. I was like, what's the appetite for Dunkirk? I don't know what I was thinking. Dunkirk made 527 million. Dunkirk, you already have it. Thank you. You're fast. Inception. Dunkirk with 527 million. Inception's at very high, like 6 something.
800, I think.
There we go. 837.
837.
That was 13 years ago. I was like, but that's Inception, right? There's no way Oppenheimer is going to make that kind of money, but it does, and it's astonishing. It might be making more than, it might be reaching 900 thanks to these late Eastern Asian countries opening it up, like China, which isn't doing so well for Oppenheimer, but like South Korea is doing very well for Oppenheimer. So, it can definitely cross 900 million. It can definitely end up beating Guardians Volume 3, which I never thought would be even possible. But even movies like The Flash and all these superhero movies, I figured would be better than Oppenheimer.
Even though I don't think it will, there is a very slim chance that it crosses 1 billion. A very little, but it's still there.
Slim. Yeah. But even if it doesn't, like again, it's crossing all these big box office tentpoles. Like
this
movie like Oppenheimer.
Right? This number right here, 82 million opening against Barbie, is still insane to me.
Insane. How did that happen? I had that pegged at like 40, 45 million opening weekend, and it doubled it. It doubled my own prediction. A lot of people's predictions. And internationally, Nolan just has that international appeal, I guess.
Market.
The market. And I guess I don't know how much this is all on Nolan or how much this is all on the subject matter. I mean, it's a very interesting subject matter. Nolan,
Or the meme.
the meme as well, right? I mean, maybe I was doubting it because of Tenet, but Tenet had the whole box office, pandemic going on, so I can't really compare it to that.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was thinking. I really do not know what I was thinking. I don't even want to listen to the podcast again to see what I was thinking. Because this is astonishing.
I remember you almost picked it as your wild card, and you
I should have.
And you went with Blue
Beetle, Evan? Blue Beetle over Oppie? That's shocking to me. Across the Spider-Verse, yeah, Dead Reckoning, yeah, Little Mermaid, yeah. Like these movies I figured were doing well. Let's go back to that list again so we can break down some more of these.
Which one, domestic or?
Domestic chart, please. Yeah, so Transformers Rise of the Beast. I'm actually very happy about this result. I think it performed about to my expectations, at least. It's crossing that 400 million. Yeah, it is. It's the least earner of the
Transformers franchise.
Not by a lot. I think Bumblebee is still in that 400. Is there a franchise ranking somewhere on this? Mojo's garbage.
Yeah.
There was a franchise ranking somewhere, but it doesn't matter. It is one of the lower grossing Transformers movies, the lowest, like you said. But I think it's fairly close to that Bumblebee range. There we go. Bumblebee, 127. Like, look at that. Like, I think, what movie are we talking about?
Rise of the Beast. It's not here yet. It's
not even here yet. Weird. Lifetime gross. Like those movies made a lot domestically. Like Revenge of the Fallen, Dark of the Moon made nearly all that domestically alone, which is astonishing.
Yeah, I think it would be between 4 and 5.
Click on Last Night. How much did Last Night make overall? 605. Wow. And that was underperforming back in the day.
What's the budget?
That was 2017, right? 217, man. That's still a decent success. Yeah. And that was 2017. Like we said, those 2017, 2018, 2019 days, it's just a different breed. Bumblebee's at 467.
467 and 434.
438. Yeah, so there's no way it's catching Bumblebee. But yeah, so it's not too far behind. Bumblebee also had the appeal of the December crowd, which we'll get into with our poll predictions. Man, it's hot in my apartment. It had the benefit of those December box office run, which you can never really predict or underestimate. As I was having trouble with my own fall predictions this year. So Transformers, Rise of the Beast. Overall, though, it is low performing, but I was happy. Like I said earlier in the podcast, I think 400 million is the new break-even point for a lot of movies in general. I think a lot of producers are looking at that 400 number. So to see Rise of the Beast do 438 is probably not what they were expecting, given the rise in budget from Bumblebee to Rise of the Beast. Not great, but I think it's improvement. I think critically they were happy with it, and box office wise they're happy with it. If they keep these movies' budgets in line, I think Rise of the Beast needs to be. Can you click on Rise of the Beast again? I forget what the budget of the movie was.
I'm trying to look for something because I was gonna say obviously Paramount cares about making money with the movie, but I'm interested in how much toy sales this movie's doing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, interesting. Yeah, I wonder what that. Yeah, don't see budget on here. Man, Apocalypse Moto garbage. But I think the budget was like 150, between 150 and 200, which combined with marketing, not really the best. But again, I think they're happy with it. If people have seen the movie, I really liked it. I thought it was pretty fun. And it sets up some interesting collaborations in the future. I'll just say that. So I'll be down for it. I think if they keep Stephen Caple Jr., I think that would be pretty solid. I think he's a pretty decent director. I like Creed 2. I like this movie. 200 million for the budget. Yeah. Movie needed to make 400 million at the very least to break even. So yeah. people always include the marketing. Don't include the marketing. It's neither here nor there. But 438, it's solid. It's going to lose some money, but it's not going to be like a bomb. It's not a bomb.
Yeah.
Dead Reckoning, though, wow, my movie of the year. One of my most anticipated and one of my most favorite movies of the year. If you want to hear my thoughts
No
on Dead Reckoning
controversy.
Part 1, go to the last, what movie podcast did we last do? It was the what we
monthly
watched in
one.
July. Yeah, what we watched in July. I go on a little rant. Not happy with a certain plot point. Still not happy with it, Charles.
Charles.
This is
Bob.
Macquarie. What's his first name?
Christopher McQuarrie.
Christopher. I was like, there's the CH. Like, fuck me. Christopher McQuarrie. Anyways, 551. I had this movie making more than Fallout. I thought it was going to ride the wave of Top Gun, which I just learned. It's not me just learning, but I have to keep in mind you can't predict year to year based on the previous actor's previous film. An actor's previous film, like Top Gun. Top Gun is a generational story. It came out in the 80s. It grew in steam in the 90s. It's one of those, it's not even a cult classic, but it's like Top Gun's one of those movies that just blew up because of the culture of it all. And it was a fantastic movie. This movie, equally as fantastic critically, it just didn't have that appeal because it's the 7th movie in a freaking Mission Impossible franchise.
And the last one came out like 4 or 5 years ago. So
they always have those big jumps. But I figured Fallout was it's still one of my favorite action movies of all time, top 5 for me. But yeah, it just didn't have that appeal. And Dead Reckoning suffered. I guess you could say it suffered from. It's hard to say. Suffered from the release. The release date argument. I understand because Barbenheimer was way bigger than what anybody was anticipating. You can say you expected it to be huge, but like you can never really predict how huge it was going to be.
I think people, the highest they were willing to go, at least for like something like Barbie, was like 100 million, and for Oppenheimer 50 opening weekend. But obviously,
if that was the case, Dead Reckoning would have fared pretty solid. I think it would have made at least 20 million more than what it has. It wouldn't have been like it wouldn't have broke even anymore, but like it's still, I don't know. But a better release date is interesting. This is always going to be a summer movie. If I'm Paramount, I would have probably made the same call. Because I'm not putting. Sorry.
And even if you wanted to release it later in the fall, you wouldn't even be able to like promote it. So you're still getting fucked.
Right? Yeah, they would have been fucked because this was the legit last movie that was promoted by actors worldwide. Barbie and Oppenheimer was the week where it's like Marco wasn't doing press for it. I mean, at least in July. Right? Like in June, you had a lot of those Cillian Murphy one-on-one interviews where they're asking them, "Do you want to be in Barbie?" But that was mostly like in June stuff. But July, when July hit, mid-July, it was like no more press. Literally, like Mission Impossible week was the week that SAG was like no more press for movies. So you're right. I don't know how that would have affected Mission Impossible because that would have been another excuse. If Mission Impossible didn't do well, they'd have been like, "Oh, it was because of the strikes. That's why." So it's like I don't know if they were fucked either way. It's just what happened. But the Barbenheimer was a big. As it ended up being, it was a big hurdle to overcome. 82 million. It took away from the R-rated crowd. I mean, not R-rated crowd, but it took away from the adults who were mostly going to see Oppenheimer. It took away from the families that would have gone to go see Mission Impossible to go see Barbie.
There's also the elephant in the room with a certain other religious.
Was down to
conservative movie. Yeah.
Exactly. Homeboy Jimmy Caviezel over there with those awkward, controversial, first of all, awful interviews, but also weird movie. I saw it, but it's like, I don't even know. It's so weird. That movie we talked about it during what we watched in July, where it's like, it's so interesting box office wise because either A, they're cooking the books on the tickets and nobody's actually going, but they're buying tickets either way, which could be true. But if that's the case, that doesn't mean it's going to affect Mission Impossible then. Like, if people are buying tickets online and just not showing up, then they're not showing up to the theater. They're not going to say, like, I'm gonna buy a movie ticket for Sound of Freedom, but then I'll go see Mission Impossible, because that obviously wasn't the case. So it's like either they're buying tickets for Sound of Freedom and not going to see Mission Impossible, or Sound of Freedom is just so big they went to go actually see Sound of Freedom instead of Mission Impossible, which maybe worked, but like the people seeing Sound of Freedom, are they the same crowd seeing Mission Impossible? Maybe. But it also would be the same crowd seeing Barbie and Oppenheimer, right? So it's like those movies weren't affected by Sound of Freedom. So it's like, why do we single out Mission Impossible? Because it came out around the same time, I guess. But like, I don't know. That's definitely a player as well, because that came out around the same time, and on the weekly grosses, it was always Sound of Freedom and Mission Impossible going back and forth. But overall, this movie made $551 million on a $290 million production budget, which we talked about in length about how it's 290 not because of what they did in the film. It's not like, the Rome chase sequence was so expensive. No, Tom Cruise was keeping the lights on Paramount Studios, wherever they were filming this movie. This is a global movie, first of all, so that's a lot. But Fast X had the same thing, where it's like, did Fast X really cost $340 when all the other Fast movies cost around $200 million? No! Fast X and Mission Impossible aren't doing things that are like super expensive in their 10th and 8th entries. Like, come on, guys. 7th entries. But both of those movies, as we heard about with Fast X explicitly, when they lost the director, they didn't want any of the producers, cast, crew, anybody leaving. That's why, Fast X had the director switch. But it costs like $5 to $10 million daily to keep the lights on. Stay. Even they're doing jack shit besides filming, like, I don't even know what they were doing. But like, I'm not a huge director or producer or whatever. But they basically just kept the studio on, and that cost the movie to gross higher. Same thing happened with Mission Impossible when you had the Tom Cruise rant and talking about like that happened because of this. They kept it on.
And also you have to consider, and this is something that you pointed out earlier this month, was the fact that that they partially filmed part 2. So it also
that as well, there's like a lot of those airplane sequences, certain submarine sequences, spoiler alert, whatever, were filmed in part 1, but there's also going to be, spoiler alert, they're going to be back in part 2 with another submarine stuff. So they filmed a lot of part 1 and part 2 together, so that's why it added up. I mean, I'll eat crow if part 2 comes out next year and it says like 290 again. I'll be kind of shocked, but I'm assuming it's going to be 220, 180, that 180 to 220 range. That's what I'm guessing for Mission Impossible 8, because they did delay it again because of the SAG strike, so maybe some things are different. I don't know. Either way, let's move on. Indiana Jones, Dial of Destiny. This
not great, Bob.
Now this is a bomb. Mission Impossible 551 on a budget of 290. I think Mission Impossible is going to lose like 100 million. This movie is going to lose way more than just 100 million, Bob. This movie made worldwide 380 when it cost around 300. 290. 295. Which including marketing, 350, 400, whatever. They're losing way more than $100. This and The Flash are inexplicably the biggest bombs of the year. Some could argue Indy is worse off than The Flash, but I don't think so anymore. I think Indiana Jones made more domestically and internationally than The Flash. I don't think The Flash even sniffed 300 million.
Yeah, and you have to remember that Disney shot themselves in the foot a big time by taking this movie to Sundance, which, you can make the argument that doesn't really move the needle for a lot of people, like film festivals, but like it also doesn't help that there were like bad reviews out there for like a full month before the movie came out.
It's interesting. Disney did this before, right? Where they filmed at Cannes for Solo, and it turned out like audiences were so on Solo.
Yeah, and also you have to point this out that maybe it isn't so much about the festival, because also Elemental didn't perform well at Cannes, and it's doing well financially.
It's doing well, right? Like, it's weird. I don't know what the logistics are behind like the strategy behind like, hey, let's perform this movie at Cannes. It's because it's coming out in June, right? These June movies are performing at Cannes. to get buzz on it. It's not like, hey, we really think. It's not like they think this movie's gonna suck, right? You always have to have faith in your films.
They definitely had that Top Gun mentality when they took this movie over there.
For sure. But like again, Top Gun isn't the first movie to like they did this with Solo years before Top Gun, and
Yeah.
it didn't turn out well for them. They did it with so I think it's just a Disney pattern. Of course they hope it's going to be big, because especially because Indiana Jones has that again cultural historical background to it. So not great, Bob. Dial of Destiny, not great. It's losing about way more than 100 million again. It's going to be losing. I don't know, but it's going to be losing money. It has to be the probably second most biggest bomb of the year next to The Flash for sure. Because again, those $300 million budgets is crippling. That's just, and I don't even know what happened with Indy. I guess the same thing with COVID, but it did get delayed, I guess. But I didn't hear as much stories as I did for Fast X
and people. Honestly, let's be honest. People don't really care about Indiana Jones as much as they did when Kingdom of the Crystal Skull came out.
They didn't. They don't. Exactly. It could have had the Star Wars effect, where it's like, oh, they're back years later. But like, no. Even me, I'm not a huge Indiana Jones fan. I like the movies, but it's like I wasn't chomping at the bit to go see Indy, old Indy jog and talk about how old he is doing stuff. The movie's fine, but it's not memorable in the least. That's the worst part for me. It's like, it's just not memorable. There's no memorable action sequence. There's no memorable antagonist. There's no memorable event. It's just it is what it is. I guess it's that kind of movie, which is I never want to say for an Indiana Jones movie. Just it is what it is. I liked it way more than Crystal Skull. Not way more, but I liked it a bit more than Crystal Skull. At least it had some rhythm to it. But that's about it. So yeah, that was your pick, though, buddy. That was all. Yeah.
That was so far. How many movies have we covered? We've covered Elemental, Rise of the Beast, Indiana Jones, The Flash, Mission Impossible, Fast X. I think we can move on to. Well, before we get to The Little Mermaid, we kind of have to talk about this. We already kind of sort of talked about it, but Sound of Freedom, this movie.
Do we have to talk about it?
Performing what it's doing is just again insane, and I
mean, Jackson International.
I know. It feels very. I don't know. What would the word be like?
Weird.
It feels wrong that the movie is making as much money as it is for the reasons that it is.
180 when it came out was like 25 million or 19 million opening weekend. How does that happen?
And also, what's weird about it is that I don't even remember anybody really reporting about it when this happened. And it kind of became a thing. Like after
it kind of became a thing. Yeah, 19 million opening weekend, and then it made more in its second weekend. Which when that happens, it's just crazy. You see there, right there, the plus 40, plus 37. It made more opening in the second weekend. That's crazy. And that's that was Mission Impossible week where it made more. That's why people are like, hey, it's taken away from Mission Impossible. But either way, what's next? Yeah, Little Mermaid. Performed as well as we were thinking. I think
it's
a little bit lower
internationally, but domestic is pretty strong.
Domestic is pretty strong. We thought, it's about to crack that $300 million mark. It is re-releasing, or maybe it did re-release with the sing-along version. Try and get that 3 million in there. It performed as well as we were expecting. I think Aladdin made $1 billion. I was like, this isn't making Aladdin money, but it's going to be in that 600. I had it making a little bit more. I thought it would crack 600. But 9th highest grossing of the Disney live action remakes, they say here. Budget of 250 million, 568, not half bad. It's not losing a lot of money there. Oh, there it is.
It would be below Cinderella then, I guess. I think. Let's see.
Really? It's not really that much money.
242. No, it would be above Cinderella. Let's see.
So now it is the 8th highest grossing.
Yeah.
Little Mermaid overall did a little bit lower than we were expecting. I thought it was gonna make 600, a little bit more. 700 maybe it could have been a breakout hit, but it just wasn't. But it's still respectable. 297 domestically, very good. A little bit less than Aladdin, and then internationally, it just didn't have that international appeal. Some people compared it to Solo, where it's like solid domestically, it did better domestically than Solo, but like international, there just isn't an international appeal for Little Mermaid specifically, just story wise, right? Because Beauty and the Beast had an international appeal. Aladdin had international appeal. You know, granted, Will Smith was there as well. And Lion King is one of the most famous animated movies of all time. So that was obviously going to be a huge hit. But even Jungle Book, I think Little Mermaid's more popular than Jungle Book, but Jungle Book made more internationally and worldwide than Little Mermaid. Made almost twice as much as Little Mermaid. So yeah, 966, nearly twice as much. That's crazy. And people count Oz the Great and Powerful. Well, Lion King 1.6 is still weird for me. That movie was. I came in as Grizzlies. I came in, I saw it, and it's like it's fine.
Yeah,
it's so forgettable. Oh my god, how did that happen? Oh my god. But I'm curious when we do our Lion King, when we do our summer 2024 box office picks, like what is the Lion King 2 going to do, or that prequel movie going to do?
Is it next year?
It is.
I forgot that it was even happening.
Like, what's the appeal there? Like, I can't underestimate it, but man, we kind of did Oppie already, but like Oppie, Guardians, Volume 3, as much as we expected, right? Almost didn't quite reach the highs of the third movie, but I think it made, or the second movie, but it made more than the first movie, 845, and it did well from weekend to weekend, very small drops, over 100 million opening weekend. At this point, I was like, the only other movies making more than 100 this year are going to be, or this summer, was going to be Across the Spider-Verse. Not knowing that Barbie would smash that number.
Told you.
Yeah, that's great. Only 3 movies crossed 100 million: Barbie, Across the Spider-Verse, and Guardians. And Little Mermaid. Little Mermaid did as well. But overall, 845, great. You know, that's great. Don't underestimate Marvel. It's a great farewell for the Guardians trilogy and a great swan song for James Gunn's tenure at Marvel.
Yep.
Not much to say there, but great job, Guardians. You can never count out Guardians. People like to say when they look back on the MCU, they'd be looking back on Guardians.
Yeah. And I think we kind of talked about it, but I don't know if you want to talk about the specific numbers for
687 for Across the Spider-Verse, one of the biggest hits of the summer. I did not expect it to be this big. I had it at like my number 4. I think I had Guardians, Little Mermaid, Mission Impossible, all above it. Across the Spider-Verse was my 4th pick. I was like, don't underestimate Spider-Man following like No Way Home and all the Spider-Man appeal. And also, you know, this is just going to be a critically well-made movie. I just never doubted it. But man, 380 overperforming Guardians of the Galaxy, 687 worldwide, almost 700 million. That was it doubled the first movie. Yeah.
Into the Spider-Verse, yeah.
It doubled Into the Spider-Verse, which made 35 million. This one made nearly 120 million, which is just wild. 120 million exactly. So insane numbers for Spider-Verse, just absolutely insane. It's going to be one of the best movies of the year, one of the most critically acclaimed and box office wise movies of the year. Hopefully people don't forget about it come award season, because I'm still hoping it gets that Best Picture nomination. But speaking of Best Picture nomination,
the big one,
Barbie, which I think is getting Best Picture, is the highest grosser. It's checking all the boxes for Oscars and box office. Like, wow, 1.34 billion.
And with things moving to next year, it has even more of a shot at the Oscars. So,
yeah, I got to talk to Josh about that bet, because I couldn't have predicted Dune leaving. That's huge. That's huge.
You can put your votes on Oppenheimer,
right? I mean, yeah. I think Oppenheimer now is going to probably be like the Everything
front
Everywhere at the Oscars. Like
front runner. Hmm.
Everything Everywhere won tons of awards. I think it won the most awards last year, but it's going to be the front runner, and I don't think anything's coming close. Sorry, Scorsese. I don't think anything's coming close to Oppenheimer this year, critically, box office wise. I mean, for the Oscars at least. I think
Barbie for
Barbie.
sure has a production design, maybe not the win, but a nomination for sure.
I mean, I think it has to win now. I thought the other option was the previous production design winner, Dune Part One,
The
which won
part
production
one,
design in
part two,
2022.
yeah.
Dune was going
Uh,
to win production design, or at least be a
y-
competitor there.
yeah, you know,
Now
I've
there isn't.
I've seen the trailer and I think the movie looks pretty damn dope. I think Napoleon could sneak into production design. That movie looks epic in scale, so that could be like the competitor for Dune instead of
They don't
Dune.
care about Ridley Scott. They're like, hey, make The Martian 2, and then we'll care. The Academy gives two shits about Ridley
the
Scott.
the comedy of the year of 2015.
Basically, oh god. Last Duel. I think Napoleon's gonna get Last Duel. I think
Last
it is.
Duel, that movie's so fucking good.
That movie's so good. It's so good. But I think Napoleon's gonna get Last Duel. We'll see though on our predictions. But yeah,
Uh,
Barbie just what a stat. 162 is now the
mhm,
highest grossing Warner Brothers film
ever.
ever. I don't think so domestically. Is Dark Knight still ahead domestically? I don't know anymore.
I can double check.
I think it is. I think domestically and worldwide is the highest grossing WB film.
I'm
not
pretty sure it is.
anymore.
Yeah.
In Deathly Hallows Part 2 is probably like the biggest one. I think it passed Deathly Hallows.
Domestically, how much is it right now?
1 point.
592.
Yeah,
Dark
592.
Dark
Dark
it's
Knight
533.
533. Yeah, so I think it's the highest grossing movie domestically for WB, which is just astounding. And I think worldwide, the only competitor was Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows Part 2, which made
381.
1.341. So yeah, I think it is now officially the highest,
Mm-hmm.
Ever, which is insane. Insane.
I told you. I told you.
You did. I'm so wrong. I was so wrong.
But hey, now unfortunately we're gonna get the Mattel Cinematic Universe. So
Yeah, because that's the lesson.
it's
they
not
should learn.
always a win.
Right. Oh boy.
That's
Come
the
on.
lesson that you take from this. Don't give
Easily.
women opportunities to make blockbusters. Just make more
Yep.
toy movies.
More toy movies. Hot Wheels, the J.J. Abrams dark and gritty Hot Wheels movie. What the fuck are you thinking?
Emotional.
What the fuck? Oh my god! Because I play with my Hot Wheels to get very dark and gritty. Come on. Hot Wheels should be the 2020s version of Speed Racer. Make it as corny as possible. It's Hot Wheels. It's weird.
And
come on.
Yeah, and the top
Anyways.
10 for worldwide box office, it's basically the same except for Ant-Man being number 9, but it's basically the same thing.
Yep,
Slightly
Ant-Man's in there. 476. Mission
Let me-
Impossible is in there.
Let me double check the Meg too. I'm curious what it's doing. It's doing well.
Still solid. Domestically, kind of in here nor there,
Yeah.
but internationally, China was always going to eat that movie up for breakfast. Yeah.
What else?
Uh,
Gran
TMNT
Turismo.
did good.
Yeah, Gran Turismo. We can't really say about my Danger Car for You because the movie hasn't even really come out. But Haunted Mansion, this was a pretty good counter for me.
I told you it was going to flop so bad. I didn't think it'd make 24 million, to be honest. I thought it'd be in the teens, but yeah.
Title summary doesn't have the budget, not yet, but I'm pretty sure it's like 156 or something.
Yeah, it
which
was
is
a pretty mid 100 budget. I didn't even see it. I'll wait for Disney Plus.
That they really like to fuck themselves over with the release dates. Just release it.
Granted, I think it would have been bad in October too. What, you're going to go up against Exorcist?
Yeah.
Exorcist in October. Yeah, Exorcist October.
And also
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Five Nights at Freddy's. Yeah,
we'll get into that because I'm kind of conflicted on that. I'm okay. Are you ready for fall?
Yeah, but just like real quick, just to catch us up over here. This is our list. No hard feelings. I guess we can double check.
Yeah. Look at No Hard Feelings. Did it pretty well. Blue Beetle had that unfortunate, like after the Flash bombed, we knew Blue Beetle was going to flop. I thought if the Flash was going to do well, which was gearing up to do well, I thought Flash could do well and Blue Beetle could do well, but not the case. Anyways, No Hard Feeling, 86, pretty solid, pretty good.
Yeah, I still think it was a good wild card. It just didn't perform what it needed to be.
Exactly.
We were so close to greatness, but I think if it would have done like 100 million overall, it would have been just fine. But I don't think we're gonna get there.
I'm shocked we didn't do Oppenheimer. What were we fucking thinking?
And also one last thing, this is just sad to me because a lot of these movies, well, at least the important ones, are gone.
Oh yeah, this is our most anticipated movies for the rest of the year. We did this the week of July. Yeah,
Challenger's gone.
Challenger's gone.
Drive Away Dolls, I think that's
that's gone.
The Coen brothers. Yeah, I think that one's gone.
Josh had Expendables. What was he thinking? Oh wait, no.
That was my wild card.
Okay, yeah,
for him.
Man, Eileen could be coming out this year. Killers, Wonka, Killer, How Do You Live, Barbie, Mission Impossible, Bottoms. Yeah, overall, I like my list still.
Mm-hmm.
Saltburn. Teaser trailer for Saltburn comes out tomorrow.
Ooh.
Yeah. The Killer. What a trailer today, dude, for The Killer.
That was a really good trailer. The music.
Jack, baby.
David Fincher knows how to use music, man.
Oh, yeah. Reznor and Ross. Hopefully they get a nomination. If it's good. We'll see. I like the tease. Overall, yeah. I'm very... Mission Impossible didn't turn out how I wanted, but I still love the movie. Still very good. I'm excited for, I guess, The Killers. I'm most anticipated now for Bottoms.
Killers
of the Flower Moon could be good. How's that movie going to perform, dude? That's my biggest question. What the hell?
I mean, after Oppenheimer, anything is possible, but it's still like a up and down.
I don't think it has the Oppenheimer oof to it. The trailer performs fine. Leo is a big draw. You're right. It has Leo. I don't know. I see that movie flopping. I don't know why. I do not know why. Scorsese hasn't had a hit in years.
What's the budget of that movie? Do we know yet or no?
Killers of the Flower Moon? No idea.
Let's see.
At least 70 to 100 million.
I mean, how hard can it?
It looks expensive.
Not this budget.
It's hard to tell.
Oh man.
What is it? 150?
Let me.
Killers. No way. 200. I mean, oh yeah, I think we talked about this when it was coming out. We are like, what? Because it was so expensive. We're like, what company is gonna want to grab this? And it went to Apple. But look at the runtime, 3 hours and 26 minutes, even longer than Oppenheimer. Like,
absolutely wild.
There's no way a 3 hour and 26 movie. And some people loved it coming out of Cannes. They were like, we kind of still felt the length. Yeah. I don't know what kind of movie, how that's going to perform. I think it'll make we'll talk about it, but I think it's going to make 30 to 40 million opening weekend, if that. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Let me just. I'm gonna fix the layout of this thing. Yeah, I'm not even. I'll change the photos later for to post it on Twitter or something. But for now, I'm just gonna leave it Even though Dune is still there, but it is.
Oh my god, that hurts, dude! 2 years in a row we're delayed. It was supposed to come out last year. We're supposed to get Dune last year.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 6, 7.
Do you want to do 7 movies each? Is that
enough? we could just do 5 because honestly, we don't even know what's sticking.
Yeah, let's do 5. Is that what we did for our last one for last box office? I think we did 5.
I think we did. We might have done we did five, and then we did the wild card, and then
Or
we did
six.
the danger zone. But I think we can dismiss the last two because again, we don't know what's coming out. So
Danger Zone is so hard. I'm like, I don't even know what movie. It's going to be so minimal for Danger Zone. Yeah, we can just do top five and a wild card, as well. Um, so yeah, five, one, two, three, four, five, one,
one,
two, three,
two,
four.
three.
So yeah, there we go. Okay. Um, or is it so four and wild card for five?
Sure, why not?
That works. Yeah, whatever. Uh, one, two,
Okay,
three.
you
Okay.
should start because I didn't do
Why are
much
you making
research
me
yet.
start? I'll start. Okay. I think similar to my last time doing this, when I went first for summer box office, I said it earlier with Dune Part 2, especially with Dune Part 2 gone, the Marvels is taking this fall by a land, not a landslide, but like I predict the Marvels not to close $1 billion. It's not coming close to what it did the first time. It had that again, a 2019 appeal. 2019 was a different brand of year. It was crazy. Any
Mm-hmm.
movie that had Disney on it was hitting $1 billion. It was weird. Um, but it came out International Women's Month, right? February. Um, I don't know.
It also came out at a time where it was building up to Endgame.
Building
So
up the end game. This is a different time. Although Black Panther 2 hits 800 million, Guardians 3 hits 800 million, Ant Man hits 468. It's definitely going to be way more than Ant Man. But even at 468, that would be a lot more than a lot of these movies we're going to be talking about here.
yeah, I
Um,
can see the
so
Marvels hitting like 600 million overall.
what the fuck? What did Love and Thunder make? Um,
Let's see.
Look up Love and Thunder for me. That's a good benchmark for a movie that stunk but did well. Um, I don't know.
Do
I
you think
think
this movie's gonna stink or what?
no. But like, if Love and Thunder can stink and do well, I think Love and Thunder was like 740, 760.
760. Damn.
And that had the July bump, of course. 144. That's huge. Man, how did that happen? Um, this was just last year, right? That came out last year.
Yeah, you also have to question if people are still gonna be watching the horror movies going up to November for the Marvels. So
They usually aren't. Even Halloween, which was a big franchise the past couple of years, by November it tanked. Not tanked, but like it did its job by then. So I think the Marvel is going to be over 100 million. It might have like similar to how Guardians 3 had 120 or 115. Yeah, I think Guardians 3 was 115, while Guardians 2 was like 160 something. I think the first one, Captain Marvel, made like 150 opening weekend in 2019, somewhere around there. I think this one's going to do 110, 105, 100, 90, something along
mhm.
those. I think it'll crack 100 million. So that's why I have it above there. I think it'll make 600 to 700 million worldwide. So I'm going with the Marvels. Number one, I don't see any other movie even hitting like 600 million this fall. I could be
Yeah,
wrong, but we'll see. It's
this
hard.
is
This one's
hard.
hard. This is gonna be the battle of like mid-budget movies, which is fun.
Yeah, bring back the mid-budget movie, please.
I agree, man.
I this is fucking hard. I think I'm gonna go simply because I don't see anything else being big. And
We're going killers or no? Oh
no,
dang it! I was gonna pick it. Nice. That's a great pick. That was my number two. This was my number one and two for the year or for the fall, easily. Um, I think you're right there. I think it's a great pick.
yeah.
Um,
Obviously, we don't know if these movies are gonna stick, so TBT. But it's a franchise. People love the Hunger Games. We haven't really gotten like a young adult blockbuster in a while. At least not a big one. So this could take that spot like from the Hunger Games back when it was huge. I don't know how much this. Let's say that this movie sticks with its release date. I don't know how much it will be affected by not having people promoting it if the strikes are still going by then. But
WB seems to think so.
yeah, let me double check how much the budget of this movie is, because like it is Lionsgate, and I don't really see Lionsgate wanting to spend more money on this movie. Um, um, like moving it from its release date. So
I don't know. I don't know. I think it made 150. What is it? 150, 180 for a Ballad of Songs and
yeah,
Songbirds and Snakes and
it
shit.
says like it's somewhere between 100 110, so it's not too
Oh,
big,
even
at
lower.
least.
Okay, that's good. That's good for that movie. Um, people used to call Margot Robbie box office poison, which is now gone because of Barbie. But now
Yeah,
that moniker has gone to one Rachel Zegler,
Rachel Segler.
who can't open a movie to save her life. But she's so young. I think that moniker is ill fitted for her. West Side Story was not her fault or anybody's
It
fault. It just didn't
it's
work
simply
out
a
like that.
story that people don't really care about, unfortunately,
Exactly.
whether you like the movie or not, which I don't, but that's just me.
Rachel was also in Shazam. Wasn't her fault at all. She was like second,
DC
third
Mess.
build. Yeah, it's like she wasn't the main actress in that. Um, what else Rachel been in? Was that it? Shazam and What's the
That
Story? That it?
that's it. Yeah,
That's it. Yeah. So this is her third movie. I think.
third
I
time the
don't think.
charm.
Return to Charmer. I don't think she's gonna be box office poison for this one. I think she's gonna be very well suited for this. But yeah, like I said, this is my number one and two. I think these are the two big franchises. Though franchises have not been like the big thing, you can't count on Indy, Transformers, Flash, Blue Beetle. Like those things are crushing. Mission Impossible even underperformed, but that's underperforming on a summer level and box office wide. If Indy came out this fall and made 70 million, we'd be like, oh
Also,
wow, cool. But
yeah, also the summer was pretty saturated this year. So
like overcrowded, kind of mean, or
yeah, because I mean, like for example, I feel like a lot of movies open back to back. Like you had
mm-hmm.
Guardians, and then you had Little Mermaid, and then you had Indie, and then you
Fast
had The
X. It
Flash
was it was
and Fast
boom, boom,
X. Yeah.
boom. Yeah, yeah, definitely did not help at all. So there's a lot of space between these things. Marvel's coming out a bit, I think 2 weeks before Hunger Games is going to have a good Thanksgiving bump, and no big competition for Hunger Games until you reach the December days. So this is where I get trouble because I put on under here at least domestically for me. You know, Marvel's 100 million plus. Hunger Games I had at about 70 million plus. These opening weekend, by the way. 100 million plus opening weekend for the Marvels. Hunger Games I had at about like 70 million plus opening weekend. I think, let me see here. Looking at the franchise for Hunger Games, by the way, Mockingjay Part 2 made 102 opening weekend. That was on the low end. 102 opening weekend. That was the lowest of the openings, I think. 102, which is still astonishing. If Hunger Games Ballad of Songbirds makes 102, that'd be crazy. But again, that was 2019. This is a different year. Either way, I think the next up. I don't
I
want to tell
changed
you what I'm.
Dune. I
I don't
changed
want to
Dune
tell you
because
what
it
I'm.
was too sad.
Yeah, that's too sad. I don't want to tell you what I'm stuck between, but a lot of these movies could be bigger than we think. I don't want to underestimate the fall Disney vibe. Am I going to go two Disney movies in a row?
Oh, I forgot about that one. I know what you're
I'm doing
thinking.
it. Disney's Wish. I got to do it. I got to do
Wish.
it. I think because it's Elemental was such a huge success, people are now craving a fun animated film again in the fall, especially. The last couple movies in the fall for Disney have not worked out, but that's not because actually it is their own fault. They put a Encanto on, you know, what, barely in theaters, right? It was like a month in theaters and straight to
Like
Disney
a
Plus,
month. Yeah.
which was weird. But I think Encanto came out what 2020 or 2021, one of those years. Um,
2021. Yeah.
2021, which was weird, right? Dune did very well. Why didn't they let Encanto leg it out? Because it was huge. So I think Wish, though, I think Wish is has that classic 90s feel. It's a musical as well. Chris Pine's in it. Chris Pine, like, not a big box office draw, but it's a musical. It looks fun. I can see this being a big surprise. And again, what family film competition is there? Even going into December, there's no animated film besides Migration at the end of the year, at like December 25th. So it doesn't even count. I think Wish has an opportunity if they don't rush it to Disney Plus, which I don't think they will. I think they're gonna leg it out from Thanksgiving all the way to Christmas. I think Wish is gonna be a big success. Will it be great? I don't know, but I think it'll be a good success if it's good. I think it'll be at least as good, hopefully even better than Elemental. Even though I like Elemental, Wish has a $200 million budget. How?
Disney needs to stop spending too much money.
Stop it! Stop it! That's wild for me. Wait, is that official actually, or is that just?
I think just like an estimate, like a prediction, but I don't think.
Okay, but again, because Elemental cost $200 million, it's not out of the realm of possibility. Look at Raya costing $100 million. That's how you do it, baby. That's how you do it. Just keep it at 100. Because we know these things are getting more and more expensive, but like Spider-Verse was in that $100 million ballpark. Elemental shouldn't even cost $200 million. That's crazy. But the Wish, yeah. So I think the Wish is going to be in that $150 to $200 million range. Anyways, I think Wish is going to be a big success. I have Wish opening at about $40 million domestically, but I think it will leg it out fairly well. So that's my my second movie, Disney's Wish, directed by one new directors, right? Von Thorn and Chris Buck does sound familiar though. Chris Buck sounds familiar. He could be new too, but I don't know Disney directors. We'll see. Anyways, what do you have next up, buddy?
Yeah, just give me a minute. I need to look up the actual precise. Okay, here it is. I have to go with a horror movie, so I'm just gonna do it.
Ooh, okay. Which one do you? Okay, good pick.
Again, another franchise. I think we're making the same mistakes that we did with the summer. We're going with the big names, the franchises, yeah. But like also
it's hard to doubt Exorcist Believer. But for me, I'm conflicted. Is it going to have that Halloween vibe to it without a Michael Myers? What's the craving for a Exorcist sequel? The trailer has been performing well at the Oppenheimer screenings that I went to. People were like, "Oh wow, it's a pretty well edited trailer," even though it has the classic like, "I've never seen this before, but I know who has." And then like, what's her name? Ellen Burstyn, whatever her name is, like pops up, and people are like, crickets, right? Like it's not like, oh, it's
nobody knows. Old lady. Yeah, nobody knows.
Nobody cares. You don't have to do it, but okay, whatever. The horror fans like it, I guess, maybe. Good pick. I had Exorcist Believer a little bit lower for me, but I did have it opening 30 million plus. Let me look up.
I was gonna
ends.
Yeah, I was gonna say what was. I don't know if you know because I know you haven't seen even the original Exorcist, but what was the last Exorcist movie, like theatrical movie? Was it the one directed by Scott Derrickson?
Or is there more than one Exorcist movie out there?
Yeah, it is. There's like 4 or 5.
What?
Yeah, it's like the original, like Exorcist, Exorcist 2, 3, and there's like I don't want to say spin-offs, but like different kind of cases. Like I know there's one that's called The Exorcist of Emily Rose, which is more of a court-like drama about like trying to prove the supernatural to like courtroom.
I just looked it up. Exorcist the Beginning, Exorcist 2, The Heretic, Exorcist 3, Dominion, prequel to The Exorcist. What the hell? Are these straight to DVD? Some of these are. No way.
Some of them are, but not all of them. And the only reason why I'm asking this is because I want to say how the very last one, theatrical one, performed, which I don't think it really matters because different time, but
I don't know. Well, let me see here. The date wise, the last one seems to be 2010. Oh, Exorcist Director's Cut. Doesn't count. 2005, I guess. It was in 110 theaters. Dominion, prequel to The Exorcist. It bombed. It didn't do anything. It made $251,000. I don't even know if that counts. The only big one, yeah, there is no big one. I guess it's the OG Exorcist at 193 million, and that's about it.
This is the
1970.
last one that I found, 2005.
I just
30
threw Emily
opening.
Rose. 30, 75. Okay.
It did fine.
Interesting.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it is kind of like what the new one does.
Yeah, I had it opening at 30 million at least. I think it can make more than 30. It's in the 30 to 40 range for me. I looked up Halloween End. Halloween End made 41 million. If Halloween End's making 41 million and is day and date on Peacock, I think Exorcist is not day and date. Halloween Ends was.
What were they thinking with that?
That was weird. We'll get to that with Five Nights at Freddy's if one of us has it. That's also day and date as well. And I'm like,
oh my god,
I don't know if that's smart. I don't know what people are excited for Five Nights at Freddy's. It could be good, but I do have Five Nights at Freddy's below Exorcist for that reason because it's day and date with Peacock.
Which is weird because aren't both movies Blumhouse?
Yes.
Am I wrong?
Well,
okay.
I don't know if Exorcist is.
Let me double check.
Five Nights at Freddy's definitely is, but I don't know about Exorcist Believer. I had a different horror movie above Exorcist Believer, though.
Which way?
I don't know if I will get to that.
It is Blumhouse.
Okay, it is Blumhouse. Okay. Do I do Aquaman 2?
What?
I'm serious.
Wait,
the first one made $1 billion.
No, I didn't hear you.
Aquaman 2. Sorry.
Oh,
Aquaman
okay.
2.
I don't know, man. Have you seen the latest DC movies?
Right now, I'll be honest. I'm conflicted between the 2 December blockbuster releases, Wonka and Aquaman 2. And I don't know which one's going to perform better. I'm going to look back at this and be like, I'm such an idiot. Aquaman 2 was the highest grossing DC movie ever. I think it made less than Joker a little bit. I think did Joker end up beating it? They're very close.
I don't know.
Either way, this isn't making $1 billion. We know that for sure. But I don't think it's going to make Flash numbers. I think it'll be better than a Flash. It's Aquaman. It's coming out in December.
Do people care though?
People care.
You also have to care. You also have to consider that last time with Aquaman, it came out after a Justice League movie, a bad Justice League movie.
That sucked. People didn't care.
And a Wonder Woman movie.
It wasn't like people were like, "Oh, I'm so hyped because I saw Justice League," right? They just wanted to see a cool Aquaman movie with cool visuals. The marketing for Aquaman was also very good. I was excited for it. It just didn't end up being good. I heard this one stinks. Sorry, James Wan.
Not his fault. He's innocent.
Not his fault. He's probably innocent, even though he's the director of the movie. Let's see here. Fuck. Aquaman 2 or Wonka? I have to go with what came before. I can't not discount Aquaman. Okay, so look.
So which one?
Blue Beetle came out with like what, 26 million? Aquaman is making more than 26 million. Aquaman is making more than Blue Beetle. Fact.
Is it a fact?
Is it going to make more than The Flash? I think so. It has the December attribute to it. So I think it's going to be making more than 260. Fuck it. Call me crazy. Call me a crazy thing. I think I'm going with Aquaman 2. Fuck it. Especially because looking at the competition, I think Aquaman 2 will make more than a buzzy horror movie, which I have some other buzzy horror movies. I think it'll make more than an Exorcist movie. If it doesn't, holy shit, that's bad. But like,
what is it called? The Lost what?
Fuck, The Lost Kingdom? Sure.
Sure, let's go with that.
Let's go with that. I just think it will be not a huge hit, but it'll be a good December, solid, decent hit. It might be the Bumblebee of this. It might make like $400 million. which from a $1 billion first movie that'd be bad, but like it might make 300 to 400 million dollars. If it
almost
bombs, I don't know,
it's
man.
it's almost in the same situation as the Marvels. Either movie, they're not gonna match the originals.
For sure. But it's like, how far are they going to drop from the originals, though? That's the interesting question. Especially
here's the thing,
Aquaman, which comes out in December with no trailer yet. Like, what
Yeah,
the fuck?
just to go hand in hand with you, I'm gonna go with Wonka.
Okay, I shouldn't have said Wonka because I knew you'd pick that one.
And the reason why is because I have to take a risk, even though I don't see people really hyped about the movie right now. There's no way. What's his face? Is it Paul King, the director?
Yep.
There's no way that the guy makes a bad family movie after the two Paddingtons that he's done.
Even if it is bad, I thought Jumanji 2 was fairly not great. I didn't see all of it. Granted, I saw it at my dad's house. I was like, Jumanji 2. I saw a little bit of it. I was like, doesn't look great, but it might have the Jumanji effect.
Also, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't The Greatest Showman came out like around December, November?
Yep.
So there you go.
Is Wonka a musical though?
Yep, it is a musical.
It is? Okay. So yeah, I was between Wonka and Aquaman. I think Wonka has a musical effect. I think the other musical, you might put this on your list. I know I'm not. The other musical is Color Purple. I'm sorry, but I don't think that's performing well. I think it could be good.
It could be a surprise hit, honestly. It could
be a surprise hit. But after West Side Story, I'm like, West Side Story, Color Purple.
Steven Spielberg.
Steven Spielberg producing this time, yeah. But either way, I don't even know who's directing it. I just know Steven Spielberg's in charge of it.
It does have Hailey Bailey, though.
Hailey Bailey, yeah, that's a good draw. For
Little Mermaid.
Yeah, I guess. But I don't think Color Purple is going to break out. I think that's making mid-teens kind of box office, and it might leg it out. It has that December Christmas release. But yeah, Aquaman. Wonka comes out a week before, I think December 11th. And then Aquaman's that prime December 15th or 17th date, whatever. Then a week after that is Color Purple with the Christmas release date. But yeah, Wonka, Aquaman are my number 4 and 5. I think they're both going to be $40 to $50 million hits. Mm-hmm. And then we'll see how it legs out, if it legs out at all. But it has you can't underestimate the Christmas run. What are people going to be running to on Christmas Day? I think it's going to be Wonka. I think it's going to be Aquaman. It's going to be one of those things. Even with minimal marketing, I think Aquaman could be a decent hit. Might not be successful, but you never know. Or it could just be a bomb. I'm prepared for it to be a bomb. And they're sandwiching it between Wonka and Color Purple. But again, I think Color Purple is not making a ton of money. But we'll see. I could be surprised.
We forgot about another musical.
Did we? Huh?
Dix the musical. Dix the musical. It's like a modern take on The Parent Trap, but with it's just around grown men.
What?
It's an A24 movie. Yeah, like Dix. Oh.
Never heard of it.
What else? Honestly, after these picks, it kind of becomes tougher.
I have one. I think it's going to be pretty good. The Nun 2.
Ooh.
I think The Nun 2 is going to be arguably bigger than Exorcist.
Wait. You're telling me that you're putting Aquaman above The Nun 2.
Yes, and I say this because I looked up the first Nun.
It's the highest one of the Conjuring movies, isn't it? Like the Conjuring universe.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure it is.
Let's see. The Nun box office. You're probably going to beat me to it. 365 worldwide. Is that the highest?
Yep, it is the highest one. The second one is
the highest?
Yeah, the first Conjuring did 319.
Really? I thought Conjuring more. I guess because Conjuring's budget was low and 319 was huge. Interesting.
Let me see if I can pop up the franchise box office.
Yeah, look that up for me. So yeah, the first Nun made $365 million. Is Aquaman 2 going to be bigger than 365? I think it could be. I think if the Flash. What's the Flash right now? Did Flash even crack 300? The Flash is at 268. Oof, god damn.
I think these are like domestic numbers, but like if you go to worldwide numbers, the Nun is still number one.
Okay, that makes sense. Even 117, even coming close, yeah. And everything else is not even close, yeah. Um, yeah, so I think 368 is a good ballpark for Aquaman. Because I think Aquaman can make more than that number right there. I
And
think it
also you have
can.
to you have to consider the Nun 2 is going to have a much lower budget than Aquaman.
Oh, for sure. I think the Nun might be more profitable, for sure. Um, but in terms of money, just how much money it makes,
Here's the thing.
I'm
I have a
putting
question. I have a question for you. Kind of related, but not really.
sure.
Were you ever really invested in the character of the nun, even in The Conjuring 2? Because I was watching the first movie again a few like weeks ago, just because the new one is coming out, and like
Yep.
I even after watching the second movie when it first came out in theaters, like I don't get it. Like this character, this entity, this creature, monster, ghost, whatever you want to call it, like it's just boring to me. I don't know why
Which
people are
one is
so
the
into
Nun in? The first one or the second one? Both?
the second one, Conjuring
It's in the
2.
second one. It's in the
It,
London
it's
one.
the it's the same movie that has the Crooked Man, which is a
I
better design monster that I like better than Banan. But
yeah, I remember Crooked Man the most from like the it's the one with the toy,
Conjuring
right? That's the
2.
Crooked Man one
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
toy and it's like goes around. That's memorable. Where the fuck is the nun in London in Conjuring 2? I don't remember the
She's like
sequence.
the. It's Do you remember that sequence in the hallway with the painting and then like the painting kind of like there's like
Okay.
hands that come out of the thing.
Yes. Yes. That's
There you
the
go.
nun. Okay. Um Interesting. Yeah. I don't know. I think Aquaman could be bigger than your average Conjuring movie, which I think has gone down. I think the Nun 2 is going to make like it'll be great if it made 300, but I think Nun 2 is going to be a little bit less than the Nun, the first one. That was such a breakout hit.
Mhm.
Um, I think it'll make like maybe half that. So again, Nun 2 though could still be a big hit. You never know. But yeah, that's my next pick. Man, sorry for your next three. These next three can be hard.
Oh my god. I was looking at the calendar and there's like several movies that I think could make bank if they were released like in theaters, but they're not. For example, is what's it called? Maestro coming on in theaters? I don't think so, is it?
Nah, I mean, I
No.
think it has to actually because of Oscars, but
Yeah.
it's gonna have that limited to
Limited.
expanded. It's gonna be like your classic low budget Oscar movie.
Yeah.
It's
Also
gonna
the
play
killer.
like
The killer, if it was being released like in theaters, like an actual proper release, I think it could do well.
I think
But
that'd do
again,
well.
it's not.
Yeah, I
It's not
agree.
the case. You know what? I think I found my movie. It went to theaters. I hope it's coming out to theaters. Let me write it down for now.
Oh, I have a couple that might be. What are you thinking here? Oh,
These movies are big. These movies are
they
big.
are big.
Let
Trolls
me just double
3
check before.
band together. Yeah, look up that title for me. I was going to pick that. That was on my list as well. Oh, actually, no, it's not on my list. What am I thinking? But I think it could perform better than some of the movies I did have on my list. Let's look at that franchise. How much? How does it fare?
Let me double check. Box office. Oh damn.
Good, bad?
No, it's pretty good. Let me see. You also have to consider that the second one came out during COVID. It didn't have like a theatrical release, but the first
So
movie,
let's look at that first one. You clicked on the re-release.
oh, let me see.
318,000. What the hell? Yeah, 346 for Trolls. So again, similar vein to like the Nun. So good pick here. Whereas like the last one made mid 300s. How is this one coming out a couple years later? How is it going to fare? I think it'll do fairly well. Um, it's going to be competing with that animation crowd for the Wish. So I think that's going to be interesting. It could be the elemental to the Wishes Spider-Verse. You never know. That could be a dark horse pick there. Good pick. And the trailer sucks. It's just bad. I hate seeing that trailer.
That's what the kids like, Evan.
I saw it in front of what did I see this weekend? Blue Beetle. I saw it in front of. I was like, come on, man. World Tour. Oh boy. World Tour.
Domestic. Yeah. I think this is just a number for from streaming. I don't know.
It has to be super limited. I think it was super limited.
Yeah.
I think it was April 2020. So yeah, it came out like
during the
yeah. That was like that one Vin Diesel movie also came out during then. I forget what it was called.
Bloodsport or whatever. Bloodsport.
Bloodshot. Yeah, I think it's called Bloodshot. No, yeah, whatever. Anyways, last one here. Man. I had Color Purple above The Creator, but I don't think so. I had Killers of the Flower Moon at 30 million plus. Do I underestimate Killers of the Flower Moon? Do I go out on a limb for Killers of the Flower Moon? 3 hour and 30-minute movie. Do people want to do
200 million budget?
200 million budget. Do people want to go out and support it? I don't think that.
$100 million more than Oppenheimer. That's something that also helped Oppenheimer. It's a pretty like reasonable budget.
Exactly. I don't think Killers is going to be like a huge hit. I just don't see it for Scorsese. I'm sorry, Scorsese. I got it down. Because then I'm be like, no, Edgar, how did we not guess Killers of the Flower Moon in December? We're gonna be looking like idiots. Anyways, shit. Or I think The Creator's gonna bomb. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's gonna bomb.
Rogue One director.
Are you not gonna pick Haunted in Venice?
That was gonna be my risk actually. Because the last ones haven't been performing that well. Granted, the last one came out during 2021/COVID era.
I think I have my next pick.
I was going to pick Saw X, but I looked at the Saw franchise. I'm like, oh, that is not a solid horror franchise to pick from. That's why I did.
Are you going to pick Paw Patrol?
No way. I refuse. It could be good, but it could be a good box office surprise, but I doubt it. So here are my options for me: Killers of the Flower Moon, Five Nights at Freddy's, The Creator. Next Goal Wins, no way. Expendables 4, no way. Maybe.
Did you mention Freddy's?
Five Nights at Freddy's, yeah, I said that. Wow, Evan, is Five Nights at Freddy's going to make more than Killers of the Flower Moon? It definitely could. It does have day and date, but so was like Halloween 2 and 3, and those did well.
Is the rumors that movie is gonna be like 2 hours and 30 still like going around?
Five Nights at Freddy's?
Yeah, you didn't see that rumor?
No, there's no way. That's like a 90-minute movie easily. Look it up for me. I don't know, Evan. Fuck me. There's no way it's 3 hours. It's a lie. I'll wait for the first. I'll wait for the first. Whatever. The first reaction review, whatever. There's no way there's 3 hours. That was 4 days ago.
This is from the economic.
I refuse. It does not. It cannot be true. It's going to be like an hour and a half. It's going to be an hour and a half. Anyways, that's funny. There's no way that's true. Killers of the Flower Moon. Do I believe in you, Scorsese? Do I believe in you? The answer is.
Let's pretend that Freddy does last like 3 hours. Which 3 hour movie is gonna make more money?
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh.
But Scorsese has fuck it. I could be going out on a limb. I didn't include Oppenheimer. But Scorsese has just been flopping every movie since. What was the one Leo movie he did last?
Wolf of Wall Street.
That was
his last hit.
That was a huge hit. Fuck it, I'm doing it. Whatever. It could easily flop. I don't know. Put me in for Killers of the Flower Moon. I got to do it. It could be a good hit.
That's all you got?
That's all I got. It could be a good hit. I'm thinking 20 to 30 million opening weekend. If it's good.
Damn.
I don't
So
know. That's hard. That's hard.
so I have two movies in particular that I'm thinking about, but I don't like. I don't really see either making big bucks, but I could be wrong. But honestly, I don't think I am. So the two movies that I'm thinking about, well, one of them is actually Freddy's. That movie could make money, but I don't think it's gonna be like huge. But the other one that I was thinking about is a sort of biopic that could have a, even though this movie didn't do like huge numbers like Air. I think this movie it has to be cheaper than that Dumb Money.
Oh, yeah, that's coming out soon. Hell, I should have put Equalizer. Actually, I should have put Equalizer on here somewhere.
Let me double check Dumb Money's budget.
I think Equalizer makes more than Dumb Money.
Do you?
Yeah, I mean Equalizer is part of a franchise. I think Dumb Money's going to make like 12, 13 million opening weekend.
Oh my god, Evan, you took all the good shit.
Equalizer's not a bad pick. The Creator's not a bad pick. Maybe it is. I'm not sure, but
is Five Nights gonna make more than the Equalizer?
That's a great question. That's a fantastic question. I think Equalizer is coming out with about 25 to 30 million this weekend.
Let me. Okay.
I think I would go Five Nights at Freddy's there because I think Five Nights at Freddy's going to at least make like 20 to 30. It's going to be around that time.
I just want to. If anything is coming during that weekend, I said October
Christmas
27th.
weekend. It has a prime Christmas release date too, dude. Or Halloween release.
Halloween.
Yeah.
Fuck it. I'm just gonna go with it.
Yeah, let's go with it. It could be a smash surprise hit. But a lot of kids are like, I need to see Five Nights at Freddy's. That's a good pick. That rounds out my list at least. The only one that didn't include on my list here are The Creator and The Color Purple. Because I was at question marks next to them. But yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's.
That's her list. It's kind of.
You put the list on the. There we go. Yeah.
It's kind of sad. Not gonna lie. Sadder than the last one, but
it is sad but these movies aren't the movies we're like mostly looking forward to. Let's just make that clear.
Yeah.
Besides Hunger Games and Marvels, I'm excited for that. Wonka could be fun.
Here's a question for you. Do you think Dune Part 2 could have been the crowning champion of the fall? Not of the year, but of the fall. Against the Marvels.
It's between the Marvels for me. It would have made between. It would have been that or the Marvels. I would have still gone the Marvels. It's hard to underestimate Marvel. The last Dune made like what? Can you look up what Dune 1 made? I think last Dune made like 440, or maybe it was like 402. I think it made 402 during the pandemic. 402. Wow, I'm a beast. Somebody shoot me. I'm a beast. 402. I think it would have made.
You know what? I think it might have
600 million, 700 million.
I think it might have had a chance to pass the Marvels just because it would have had the IMAX like long run, like the Oppenheimer did. The premium screens. So.
Even now, with it coming in March, I think it's going to be a 600, which would be crazy. It's going to make 200 million more than the last one. I don't know. I think it could. Yeah, I think it could. So I think Dune is going to make like 400 to 700 million next time. It's going to at least make. I think the floor for Dune Part 2 is Dune Part 1. I think the floor is 402. I think it could get, even in March next year, it can get to like 600, 700. But even then, is that making more than the Marvels, which I think is locked in at like at least 600? I don't know. But this was fun. I'm going to be excited to do one. I think the next time we should be back with this should be
spring, I guess.
I think we should do first week in January to see what we get between January and May. January, February, March, and April, I think. because then May would be summer.
Yeah, May will be summer.
So January to April, which would be fun because March has a lot of interesting stuff with Dune, Godzilla's in
Hey,
April.
besides a couple summer movies like Guardians, Barbie, Oppenheimer.
Yeah,
Technically, if you want to make the argument, you could make the argument that this year's spring was pretty strong for the box office. So
I think it really was. Minus Paramount's underperforming Dungeons and Dragons, I think Scream overperformed,
John
Creed
Wick,
overperformed, John Wick overperformed. So those are three movies right
Megan,
there. Megan was great.
Mario, kind of, but I mean, everybody was
Mario was
expecting that to
huge.
be
That was expected, of course. Yeah. So spring was really good, and then summer came around, and you did have your like indie Flash, whatever. But across Spider Verse, Barbie, Oppenheimer, those were some big
Guardians.
Guardians, Little Mermaid. Like those were some Little Mermaid less so, but like Guardians, like those are some good hits. Each month had at least two big ones. So good stuff. Good stuff. It was a fun year overall. This is going to be the end of the year. This fall season, box office wise, doesn't look like it's going to be full of big hitters.
Mhm.
People are shying away, but I'm excited for the fall season as we do our other podcast where we talk about what we watched, and as we do our Oscar podcast coming up this week. I'm excited. The Maestro trailer, and this is a preview for what we're talking about with the Oscars coming up soon.
With
On
Josh.
our upcoming Oscar podcast with Josh. Maestro really surprised me. I had that out of the Best Picture lineup. I only had like Bradley Cooper, an actor, and I had him in. I had the makeup, of course. But if Maestro catches steam and Holdovers does well, I'm worried for Across the Spider-Verse. But without Dune now, Across the Spider-Verse is seeming a little bit more secure in Best Picture, in my opinion, without Dune there. So that does help with Across the Spider-Verse getting that like
So
one out of the four best nominations.
here's a question for you. Do you think
Yes.
you officially lost the bet with Josh because your bet was
I
that
think
it
I
was
did.
gonna
There's no way that Barbie doesn't get in. But with Dune, I had wiggle room. I had wiggle room. You could argue maybe I'm just being petty, but like I told Josh when Barbie broke like $1 billion or was on his way, I was like, fuck it, I might have to lose another $50. I think it's going to be getting in. But
What's
then
the
other
Venmo?
people recently have taken Barbie off their lineup for prediction. So I'm like, I'm not crazy. I think right now Barbie's at like number 9 or 10 for me. But without Dune, it's easily getting in. It's easily getting in. So Josh, if you're listening to this, I should tweet Josh. But I'm like, I can't pay $50. I can, but like the rules, the field has changed, especially if more things move away. I'm like, Barbie's going to be super, super locked in now.
So here's the thing. What do you think it's gonna be? Again, we're gonna close in a bit real soon right now. But like what do you think are gonna be at least the 10 best pictures so far?
Ooh, off the top of my head,
if nothing changes,
number one. It doesn't change. Oppenheimer number one. I think it's the front runner. I don't think anything's going to come close. I argue Dune Part 2 could come close. People love Denis. People love whatever. Anyway, I'm not going to explain it.
Yeah.
Killers or Oppenheimer, Killers 1 and 2. Fuck it. Let's put Barbie. I don't think Barbie's at the 3 spot, but it's on the list. Barbie. What have I got here? Maestro. The Holdovers. Actors are paying the Holdovers with Paul. Rhino. What's his name? Paul Giamatti. Across the Spider-Verse, number 6. What do we have for 7, 8, 9, 10, Evan? I'm blanking now on all these movies. 7 is going to be not The Killer.
Why not?
Fincher. If Fincher couldn't get in for Gone Girl, one of the best movies of all time, then he's not getting in for The Killer. And it's too commercial. It's too commercial. It is less movies. Saltburn could get in. That's 7. Zone of Interest or Anatomy of the Fall. One of those. Let's put Anatomy of the Fall in there. I think what's 9 and 10? I'm blanking on some popular ones probably. Without Dune, I'm just all over the place. Is Air getting in? Doubt it.
Nah.
What's 9 and 10, Evan? I'm blanking. I have to look at my Gold Derby.
I
But
would I would probably go similar list. I would probably go Oppenheimer, Barbie, Killers, what else? Maestro. I would if the movie is great, which it has a shot because of the
Past
direct.
Lives, that was 9. I'm stupid. Past
Okay.
Lives is
Oh
definitely
yeah,
getting
Past Lives, Past Lives.
in.
You can include Past Lives for me too. That's my 5.
And then 10 was Dune. That was my
Yeah.
list. But now with 10 with Dune gone, I don't know what to
Yeah.
fucking put in.
I think it might have a shot if the movie is kind of as powerful as it's being promoted. Priscilla. What else? Priscilla. I might be stupid I might be stupid for saying this, but I think if the movie really hits from that like epic scale, and if it seems more epic than the last duel, I'm just gonna put Napoleon there just because why not?
They don't care about Ridley, my boy.
They have to change sometime, Evan.
Oh, okay. So I named it all. Number 10 was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Why is there only 9 in Gold Derby? Are they not doing 10? They're doing 10 movies. That's weird. But I think for number 10, I had The Color Purple. And The Color Purple has fair odds there. But now I got to take out one because they removed Dune from my list on Gold Derby. Oh my god!
You really think Across the Spider-Verse still has a shot for Best Picture?
100%.
100%.
I think not 100, but like especially with Dune gone, are you going to name 10 movies better than Across the Spider-Verse this year? Come on, like I think looking at Gold Derby, the only other options are international affairs. Like, are you going to include Zone of Interest? That could be a shot. Anatomy of a Fall, that could be a shot. But like Air, Poor Things, Napoleon, Ferrari, Rustin, like there's not a lot of competition this year. It's pretty thin. It's pretty thin, unfortunately. But I think the top 10 are exciting movies. So I will keep Across the Spider-Verse there. I think it's people have lowered it actually. In Gold Derby, they have it at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
You know, the only reason why I wouldn't put Across the Spider-Verse, and this might be stupid for me to say because last year we had movies like
don't say you're gonna because it's the part 1.
No, not because of the part 1. I feel like, and again, this is not my opinion. I just feel like this is how the Academy sometimes thinks. Too many blockbusters on their lineup with like Oppenheimer, Barbie, and stupid shit like that. But
true. Dune was gonna be there. Dune was a blockbuster.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. Like, what was the last time that they nominated in a studio animated movie for Best Picture?
Up.
Was it Up? No, Toy Story 3?
Did Toy Story 3 come out after Up?
I think so, 2010. Might be wrong.
Might be Toy Story 3 then, yeah. Yeah, you're right. It might be Toy Story 3. It's still crazy to me that Up was even nominated for Best Picture. What a movie.
I don't like it either.
It's so boring.
It is
boring. I remember watched it like in the I think 3 or 4 years ago. I finally watched Up. Yeah. I was like, this is it?
Yeah. Josh is gonna hate us for this.
Wally surprised me. It's still not one of my favorites, but it's better than The Rat. I gotta.
But anyway,
anyways, yeah.
Where can people find you?
Find me on Twitter at Harris EV9. Second week of teaching underway.
Oof.
It's going okay. My sleep schedule is fucked. Big Brother especially is killing me. I'm watching these live feeds at 2:30 a.m. I'm like, I gotta go to bed. Big Brother 25. So Harris EV9 for all my Big Brother tweets. If you don't like Big Brother 25, just mute me. But also tweeting about a lot of anime. Anime has been really good this year. Really, really good this year. There were going to be more Naruto episodes. Naruto is my favorite show of all time. There were going to be more Naruto episodes coming out like in September. Like they're going to re-release episodes in HD, restructure it. But now it got delayed indefinitely, which sucks. Anyways, anime, movies. I'm excited to see hopefully Bottoms this weekend if it's available at my theaters. I know it's limited.
I need to catch up with so many movies.
What else am I watching these days? Catch Nathan and I stream about Ahsoka. We do Ahsoka reviews every week starting since last week, and we've been doing Saw commentaries as we build up to Saw 10. I've never seen these movies, but the last one I watched, Saw. What did you watch, Nathan? I think we watched like Saw 4.
How are you faring with the torture porn?
It's not good, Bob. I was astonished. The last one I watched, I was like, it had to be Saw 4. Yeah, we had to watch Saw 4. I was shocked at how weird of a movie it was. Like nothing of importance happened outside of like flashbacks, and the structure was all over the place. The editing was wild. I'm like,
Why is Nathan doing this to you? Go on strike, Evan, or something.
Because I just watched. What kind of movie is this? The first one is a classic for good reason.
Yeah.
It doesn't hold up as well as I thought it would. I haven't rewatched it. But like the subsequent movies are just like, here's a cliffhanger for no reason. Stop with the cliffhangers. Give me a movie, please.
I've heard I haven't seen all of these movies, but I've heard that every single movie tries to like tie it in with a little twist to the original movie. I don't know if that's true, but like
they tie it in like thematically. Like they always want to bring in a twist at the end.
Yeah,
you don't have to do that. They also want to. It's the same formula: detectives versus Jigsaw. Every time the detectives are idiots, and boring characters. Just boring.
Should have been rewatching or watching for the first time the Exorcist series instead.
I didn't know it was a series. If I did, I would have. Yeah, I might. Yeah, I have never seen Exorcist, so I think Nathan and I do plan on watching the first one at least, the only important one.
Yeah. I've heard 3. It's really good. Really? I haven't seen it though.
Okay. Maybe we'll do the other ones, but yeah, we're doing Ahsoka. We're doing Saw. Catch us there every week.
Yeah. And you can find me on all social medias, Twitter or X, whatever, Instagram, Letterboxd at ETGRTG. You can find some of my work at Loud and Clear Reviews and the Cinema Spot. If today I didn't feel like too like I don't know what's the word, optimistic or loud or jolly, it's because I'm a little bit sick and I just moved from one location to another. So yeah, that's been fun dealing with all that stuff.
You're still in Cali. You're still
still in Cali, but I'm in LA. Well, close to LA. According
more press screenings, fucker.
To Josh. Yeah.
Are you rooming with Josh? That's plot twist. Is he next door?
Yeah, I know. And what else? Oh yeah, one last thing before we close out the show. I just wanted to say again that this podcast, Where Heartbreak Feels Good. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for all the talented people that write and act in these shows and movies. So our full support still goes for the WGA and SAG, which the AMPTP can get their shit together apparently.
100%.
I'm starting to believe that I wouldn't be surprised if this thing keeps going to like 2024, which would be wild. But I mean, the way that they're behaving is just really stupid. But
I couldn't agree even more. Sorry, just real quick. Yeah, I couldn't agree even more that the whole WB Dune thing just it was like an anchor in my heart where it's just like, I was optimistic. I was like, every week WGA was sending tweets saying there's progress, not big progress, but there's progress a little bit with the Writers Guild, not so much SAG. But like with the whole Dune removal, like WB is putting his flag on the ground saying, we'll wait it out, which is just so heartbreaking, disgusting, and just awful. So yeah, our hearts go out to them.
And like because I've heard rumors that a lot of people think this thing is gonna end like at the end of September, early October. Even if that's the case, what a fucking dumb decision to move your movies just because you couldn't figure out your shit. But anyway, we have some links below on the description if you want to support the strikes with anything, even if you just want to share it on social media, that's fine. And this is Where Heartbreak Feels Good. We're gonna be back maybe with Josh hosting an episode of that Indescribable Feeling, or the monthly episode for August of what we watch, which honestly I haven't really watched anything this month. I still have to watch Blue Beetle. I still have to watch Bottoms. I'm kind of interested in watching Strays because of how bad it looks, but we'll see.
God, did that already come out?
Yeah, it bombed. It came out the same weekend.
It came out
the same weekend as Blue Beetle. Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And just a bunch of other shows, but
just keep up with this with our Twitter account and both of us as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you can find this podcast at WHFG Podcast on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and Hive, I guess. And yeah, just remember that heartbreak feels good in a place like this. So bye bye.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.